Welcome to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Rennick. Today, we'll be joined on the show by Show-Me Center's Marketing Director, Kelli Dysinger, to hear about the upcoming Show-Me Showdown. Then we'll speak with Dianne Lawrence of Cape's Park and Rec Department, talk about Camp PLAYMO. And finally, we will sit down with SEMO's Adam Criblez to hear about Cape Girardeau's involvement in the Civil War. All next on Cape Chronicle. Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Rennick. Joining us now is Kelli Dysinger with the Show-Me Center. Kelli, hello again.
Hello, how are you?
Good. We didn't have you on too long ago, did we?
It hasn't been too long.
Well, luckily with the Show-Me Center, there's always new things, exciting things, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I know coming up in maybe just a couple of weeks, you welcome the dinosaurs back to the Show-Me Center the first weekend of May.
Yes, they'll be in May 1st through the 3rd, so that's a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. We do urge you to go online, though, and grab those tickets. You can go to showmecenter.com, and there's a ticket link on there to get those tickets. And I hear it's going to be an absolute fabulous time. They bring in rock and dirt, and they just put it all over the floor and just make it a magical experience for the kiddos.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me, that they kind of, it's a little spooky maybe, depending on what your age is to go through there. There's a big bounce house area as well. They kind of take over the entire Show-Me Center, Rec Center. Yes,
they do. And you do have to be 11 years old or under to be able to ride the dinosaurs. I'm a little upset that I can't ride them, but I guess I'll be okay.
So, again, that's May the 1st through the 3rd. It's Jurassic Quest is the name of it.
Absolutely.
And tickets can be purchased through the Show-Me Center website?
Yes, there's a link on the website that you can go and purchase those tickets. And then they'll also be on sale that weekend at the Show-Me Center. But they are asking people to get on that website and purchase those tickets in advance just to make sure you get your ticket.
Okay. And it's been a while since it's been there before. But it's been a while since it's been here.
I believe it's been about 3 or 4 years since it's been back at the building.
I was there with my family, and it's definitely a lot of fun. Not just for the kids. I mean, it's adults obviously find, as you're excited about, find a lot of enjoyment in it as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a couple more events coming up. And really the big one we want to talk about is going to be in August. And this is a brand new event. Is this your brainchild? Is this your idea?
It is. So.
And what's it called?
It's called the Show-Me Showdown Car, Truck, and Bike Show. And we have not had a car show at the Show-Me Center in 30 years. So we decided to bring this back this year. We're going to have cars on the Show-Me Center floor. We're going to put motorcycles on the concourse. Yes, they're going to go upstairs in the concourse. We're going to bring those in through the rec center. And we're going to fill the front parking lot with cars. We're going to have food trucks, 4 wide Power Wheel racing. So it's not just for the kids. If you can fit in a Power Wheel, you can race a Power Wheel too, because we're going to have adult classes of that too.
Where will that happen?
That's going to happen on the one-way right in front of the building.
Oh, okay.
We've got 3 classes of that. So there's a stock class, there's a modified class, and there's an outlaw class. You just have to power those guys with batteries. They can't have any kind of gas motors or anything. It just has to be battery powered.
Wow.
And then we're also going to have a swap meet on the north side of the parking lot on Saturday. And that event goes for 2 days.
So explain a swap meet. Like, how will that work?
So a swap meet, if you've ever been to the swap meet at the Arena building in February, that's basically the same thing. You're going to have all kinds of things. You might find door handles or hoods to cars or a pot or a coffee maker. You never,
so anything like that.
You never know what you might find. You might find a die-cast car or an old sign. It's just really what anybody wants to bring in and sell that day.
So I know you're partnering with Park Motor Club.
Yes, and Lawless.
And Lawless Harley Davidson. So how did that come about? How did those partnerships come about?
So I went and asked Park Motor Club if they wanted to bring a car show back to the Show Me Center, and Jeff Bruni was just absolutely thrilled, and he has been just an amazing support of this show, and he's going to have some really cool cars at the building that weekend. And then I got the idea that we could put motorcycles up in the concourse, so Buddy Cheek obviously was my next go-to, and when I told Buddy that we've never put motorcycles in the concourse, he was like, right on, let's go ahead and do this. So they have been amazing partners for this event.
So with the car show part, can people enter, bring their cars in? How will that work?
So right
Is
now,
it a competition?
So right now on our website, there's a link that you can pre-register your car up until May 31st. That's when we're going to start picking all of the cars that are going to go inside the Show Me Center. That pre-register, if you do that, those spots are only $50 right now. We're going to assign those spots the first part of June, and then after that, you'll get a move-in date. We're going to move those cars in on Friday, and then you'll move out on Sunday. So they'll be secured in the building all weekend. Now, if you just want an outdoor spot, you come Saturday morning, but you can also pre-register for your outdoor spot too. Those outdoor spots right now are $35.
Okay.
There's going to be a top 100 awards. I'm not going to say what those awards are right now, but I will say that you probably have not seen those awards at any other car show. They're going to be something a little bit special and a little bit different.
Great.
And there's also going to be 30 special awards too. And one of those awards will be given out by our president of the university as well.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so as far as the public goes, obviously a chance to see some probably pretty amazing cars. What else might bring them out for this? And bikes too, obviously.
Yes, so we're going to have a couple special guests that are going to be coming in. We've got a guest coming from California. He is known for pinstriping. And when I say pinstriping, it's not pinstriping with stickers. He's actually going to hand pinstripe a car on the Show Me Center floor. So his name is Rick Bacon. He will be at the show that weekend. He used to be on a couple TV shows on cable, and he'll be hand pinstriping a vehicle that weekend. We're also, if you ever watch the show Gas Monkey Garage, we will have one of their painters will be here that weekend too. So Mike Coy will be joining us that weekend as well. So we'll have special guests here. We're also going to have different games, different stuff going on. It's just going to be a big family fun weekend.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, so the Show Me Showdown, it is a car and bike show at the Show Me Center.
Yes.
And that's with Park Motor Club, Lawless Harley Davidson. August 1. The swap meet, though, is 2 days, you say?
The swap meet is just going to be August 1st, and
Okay.
it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay,
The car, bike, and truck show, that's going to be August 1st and 2nd.
okay,
And then we're going to have lots of food trucks there too.
okay. And showmecenter.biz.
.com.
.com.
We changed to .com.
I think .biz might still get you there,
.biz will still get you
but
there.
it's .com.
Yes, we got a brand new website, so check that out as well.
All right, Kelly, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we'll hear about PLAYMO. Stay tuned.
What does it take to stand tall? To let curiosity take root? To let your dreams take flight? You have to be too stubborn to quit, too smart to fail. Forged with an iron will, raised on river mud and big dreams. You have to know when to dig in, because the Mississippi is wide, but your ambitions are wider. You have to be fearless, because the only thing to fear is your wasted potential. So go deeper. Carve your path without permission. Turn your grit into greatness. Stand on a community who has your back. This is your small town with big ideas, where hometown pride makes a global footprint. This is where you find your fearless. This is SEMO.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Rennick. Joining me is Dianne Lawrence, Assistant Recreation Division Manager at the Cape Parks and Rec. How you, Dianne?
I'm great, thank you.
That's a busy name for a busy organization.
Absolutely.
There's always something going on with the Cape Park and Rec.
Yes, the Cape Parks and Rec, we have slower times, but they're not really slow.
Right.
For us, we're getting ready to gear into summer season, which is our busiest season.
Is that the busiest season?
It is. I mean, we're busy all year round. We have a lot of facilities and a lot of leagues that go on all year round. But our summer, when kids are out of school, we ramp it up even more.
Yeah, there are just so many amazing programs that you guys have and offer the community, young and old.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely. We've worked very hard to kind of help create an environment for kids to be able to come during the summer, parents to drop them off and leave them. We have a lot of camps and classes that we have, arting around, spectacular science, some pee-wee sports for the little guys to kind of get acclimated with sports programs and things like that. And then our summer ends with the last 3 weeks of July, starting July 13th, with Camp PLAYMO.
All right, so let's talk about Camp PLAYMO. So what the date again for that?
The first week starts July 13th,
Okay.
and it's Monday through a Friday,
Okay.
and it's for the last 3 weeks of July.
Okay.
It's from 7. The camp is actually from 8:30 to 4:30, but we do have drop off at 7:30 and then pick up until 5:30 because we know a lot of working parents
Sure.
sometimes that they need that extra time, and so we do have staff fully staffed there and for them to drop them off. So.
Is it is the whole camp the 3 weeks, or you can pick a week?
It's week by week.
It is, okay.
And each week has a different theme. The first week is Country Kids Camp, so kind of looking at plants and animals and farms and things to do with that.
Okay.
Our second week is Pirate Adventure, so everything to kind of do with pirating and the water and sea and things like that. And then our last week is Camp Carnival, which is a lot of circus type fun and lots of color from what I hear. So.
Nice. So I'm assuming you kind of change these themes up from summer to summer. So if you were a part of it, or your child was a part of it last year, might be a whole new experience this year?
Absolutely, and we have a lot of kids that do come all 3 weeks, and
Okay.
so we don't want kids to get bored, particularly if they there are 3 weeks, and so it's also a way for our staff to kind of get creative and come up with some new ideas for things. Each week, depending on the theme, the crafts that we do, the games that they play, even some of the field trips that we take are all kind of associated with that theme.
So I was going to ask you, where is it? Does it spread out across the city?
It's based most of the time at AC Brazzi Arena building.
Okay.
However, some dates we have at Osage. I will tell you every Friday is probably our most popular day, no matter what theme of the week is. We start at Osage and we do go to Cape Splash in the afternoon
Nice.
every Friday. So, and then a lot of the activities are there at the facility, but then we do take field trips. Some past field trips, we've gone to Discovery Playhouse, and we've gone to the radio station. We've gone to KFVS 12. And so we do try to get them out and about so they're not stuck in one place all day long.
Sure. I'll drive down Broadway once in a while, and I'll see a bunch at Capitol Hall Park, maybe doing something. And,
Yep.
like you said, you keep them active.
Absolutely.
And you have to. You got
Yes.
to keep the kids active.
We try to wear them out before we send them home.
There you go. What are the age ranges for campers?
Our camp is generally 6 to 12.
Okay.
And we do kind of divide them by age because sometimes the 6-year-olds don't work well with 10 and 11-year-olds. And so we'll do a lot of the same activities, but we'll divide them by age, kind of keeping the ages together. And it's $120 a week. And again, they can come all, 1 week or all 3.
Okay, and the best way to enroll, to get signed up is what?
We do try to get everybody to sign up online, and you can do that by going to cityofcape.org/parks and recreation. You can also call Osage or Arena Building, and we'll get you signed up that way also.
Okay, so the PLAYMO theme continues. I know
It
there's
does.
something new that you said Penny Williams.
She her and PLAYMO worked really hard over the winter to kind
Okay.
of have this new surprise.
And it is?
It is our first annual puzzle piece search.
Okay.
So we have created a circle puzzle that features PLAYMO, and we've cut it into 4 different pieces, and we've put those pieces in envelopes sealed envelopes, and we've hidden them throughout the city. It does stay within the city limits,
Okay.
in either an outdoor facility or indoor facility or one of our parks. And starting on April 18th, our PLAYMO, our Play Cape guide will come out, and so our first clue will be in there. It will also post it on social media on April 23rd, and it'll give you the first clue where to find that puzzle. And so every other day we'll launch a new clue to try to help someone find it, and every 2 weeks then we'll launch for the next piece.
Okay, and are there 4 total pieces?
There are 4 total pieces. The last piece will introduce the clue on June 4th. And then hopefully all 4 pieces will be found, and we'll put the whole puzzle together on July 8th, which is our Parks and Rec Day at the Osage Center.
Okay.
And we'll take everybody's photo with the winning pieces, and there are some great prizes for finding those pieces.
Yeah, tell us some of those prizes.
Well, the first prize is a Cape Splash package, a package for 4 to come to the park, eat, enjoy the whole day, some extra special prizes, maybe some sunglasses and some suntan lotion. We do recommend that. One of our other packages is a fitness package with our fitness and wellness person at Osage, Christine, a month of free visits to the Osage Center to enjoy our fitness classes, some special personal training sessions with her, and some other nutritional things that go along with that. We also have a golf package out at our JC golf course. 4 people can go and play, have a cart, get some food that day. And then our last prize is our downtown staycation package with Marriott and Top of the Mark providing an overnight hotel stay and some great food.
Wow. So kind of a way, this is something new, something different.
Absolutely.
And a way to probably highlight some different parts of Cape Girardeau and be on the lookout for that, I guess.
Absolutely.
Coming up soon.
Absolutely.
All right, real quickly for Camp PLAYMO, we got about 45 seconds. Again, if someone wants to find out more, if they want to get their child registered, the best way to go about doing that.
They can go online to cityofcape.org/parks and recreation, and that'll give them all the information. They can also call Osage Center, 573-339-6342, and we can give them all the information and help them get signed up as well.
Okay, and then be on the lookout for PLAYMO's puzzle coming soon.
Absolutely.
All right, Diane, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stick around after the break. We'll learn a bit about Cape Girardeau and the Civil War.
What does it take to stand tall? To let curiosity take root? To let your dreams take flight? You have to be too stubborn to quit, too smart to fail, forged with an iron will, raised on river mud and big dreams. You have to know when to dig in, because the Mississippi is wide, but your ambitions are wider. You have to be fearless, because the only thing to fear is your wasted potential. So go deeper. Carve your path without permission. Turn your grit into greatness. Stand on a community who has your back. This is your small town with big ideas, where hometown pride makes a global footprint. This is where you find your fearless. This is SEMO.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Rennick. Cape Girardeau has a storied past with the United States Civil War, and Adam Criblez, professor of history and interim chair at Southeast Missouri State University, is with us to talk about it. Adam, how you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Yeah, I told you as you got up here, I said it's unfair to dedicate 7 minutes to the deep history, but this fascinates me, and I guess just real quickly, tell us the role of Cape in the Civil War.
Yeah, so when I talk to groups about the Civil War and I talk to groups about Cape Girardeau in general, I talk about it being a middle ground, right? That Cape was not the kind of community that everyone was supportive of the Union or supportive of the Confederacy. In fact, Cape was a divided community. And if you look historically during the Civil War, Cape is going to be, making sure I get this right, the southernmost Union-held community in the region, and Bloomfield was the northernmost Confederate-held community in the region. So that between Cape and Bloomfield, we're going to see a lot of skirmishes, we're going to see a lot of back and forth. We see in Cape families divided over whether they'll be Union or Confederate, churches divide. It becomes very much a divided community, although it's held by the Union throughout the war.
So I think I've read or heard before that part of what you're describing is you could be walking along the street and not know which side that the other person is on. Is that correct?
Of course, yeah. And so I moved here from Ohio 12 years ago now, and there it was pretty universal support of the Union. And then you come to Southeast Missouri and realize that it tore families apart and neighbors apart. And so we have this situation where, yeah, you don't know whether your neighbors support the Union or Confederacy, whether they might potentially try to undermine the war effort for one side or the other. And so it became very anxiety-inducing for a lot of the people in Cape.
Sure. Is it very unique to the conflict itself, what Cape experienced or this area experienced?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, I would say there are similarities between communities within, especially the states of Missouri and Tennessee and Kentucky,
Okay.
because those are kind of the border states. But in terms of significant communities that had a legitimate feeling of anxiety, that Cape was right up there because it's on the river. It's really the most advantageous position to launch an attack on St. Louis if the Confederacy is able to take Cairo. And so people in Cape were legitimately concerned that war was going to come to their doorstep.
So we hear a lot in Cape about Ulysses S. Grant. What was his role in Cape Girardeau?
Yeah, so Grant was only here for 5 days.
Okay.
But they were an incredibly formative 5 days. He's given his commission as a brigadier general in 1861, and he comes from Ironton to Cape. And in fact, if you go to the Riverwall, one of my favorite murals on the Riverwall depicts Grant coming, face to face and making sure to establish his dominance over Benjamin Prentiss. And there was a rivalry for leadership here. And so Grant takes charge of Cape, eventually relocates and launches his military career in the battles of Fort Henry, Fort Donelson in 1862. But that's not possible without him kind of planting his roots here in Cape.
Okay. And you mentioned these battles. There is a battle of Cape Girardeau?
There is, yeah. So in 1863, we're going to see a Union force down near Bloomfield, in fact. General McNeil was come upon by General Marmaduke, who was the Confederate general. And McNeil's orders were actually to flee northwest towards Pilot Knob, but he fled northeast towards Cape because it was closer. And so he's coming into Cape hot with 2,000 men, while the Confederates have 5,000. And there's a fear that Cape is going to be overrun. They send women and children onto boats to try to get them out of Cape so they're not captured. The population of Cape at that time was about 2,600. So even if every person in Cape was armed, that plus McNeil's army wasn't enough to turn back Marmaduke. So there were some skirmishes that took place out near, so Cape had 4 Civil War forts, creatively named Forts A, B, C, and D. And Forts B and C were protect the roads from Bloomfield and Jackson. And so from Fort B, we're going to see a lot of activity. And just to kind of orient, Fort B is on the campus of Southeast Missouri State, but much of the fighting actually emerged from what's called Battery B, which is roughly where Mercy Hospital is.
Okay.
There off Broadway.
Okay.
And so today we think of that as like being the heart of Cape and like central Cape, but like that was on the outskirts. That was on
Sure.
the border.
Right.
And so yeah, we're gonna see a skirmish. It's called a battle. We don't really know how many people fought. We don't know how many people died, but we are going to see the Union eventually get some reinforcements on the river and able to turn back the Confederates.
Forts A and D are more riverside, or more downtown. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so Fort A is actually, there's a little monument and a flag by Fort A, and then Fort D is a reconstructed fort south of town. One thing that I think people often mistake about Fort D is they assume there's a reconstructed powder work that was built by the WPA in the 1930s.
Okay.
The actual fort would have just been like earthworks, so it's a little confusing. But yeah, Forts A and D were on the river.
Are there any other notable stories, or
Sure.
whether it be citizenry or soldiers from this area?
Absolutely. So one of the big names in the implementation of building those 4 forts was a man named John Wesley Powell. So John Wesley Powell is kind of overseeing these forts, and would have kind of drifted off into history for his role in Cape, except that at a later Civil War battle he lost an arm, and then would go on to, and the word discover is wrong, but to explore the Grand Canyon. So he becomes this famous explorer, this well-known Civil War kind of figure, and again, kind of got his start in Cape with these forts in Cape. So yeah, a lot of stories that kind of start local but have national implications.
Wow, that's amazing. Obviously, we have a rich history here for many different reasons.
Sure.
But it's so wonderful to hear the Civil War history. where did you get inspired to want to learn about the Civil War? We have a couple minutes left.
Sure, yeah. So my interest actually started in graduate school, and I was interested in the Civil War era, not necessarily the battles, but just the way it changed the way people thought of themselves as being American. And in some way, I mean, the Civil War itself was very divisive, obviously, Union versus Confederacy, but it put to bed some kind of festering concerns that had been bubbling up for a long time. So the fact that it's almost like the nation was set on fire and kind of has to then rebuild from the ashes.
Yeah.
And again, the thing that was fascinating to me about Missouri was that it is this middle ground, and that I read this years ago that in Missouri, the Civil War really didn't start in 1861 and end in 65. Instead, it really started in 1820 with the Missouri Compromise and lasted through the 1870s with like Jesse James and Frank James. And so they weren't attacking Union soldiers, but they were attacking federal trains and bank robberies and stuff. So kind of that spirit. And I think we often forget that in the 1860s, Missouri was still kind of the Wild West in a lot of ways. And so that was fascinating and really led me to explore more about like the local history of the American Civil War.
About 45 seconds left. Is there anything that we could point to and say, this part of Cape Girardeau right now is really impacted from what happened during the Civil War?
Sure, yeah.
Any connections like that?
Absolutely, and to that end, and this is maybe more of, kind of looking more broadly, but there was a colored regiment that served during the Civil War, and there's a square called Ivor Square in downtown, by the old courthouse that's dedicated. And I think it shows the role that African Americans have played in this community for long before there was even emancipation. And so I think that the fundamental importance of the black community in downtown Cape is something that is underscored by the Civil War.
Adam, we could talk for quite a long time.
I absolutely could.
Appreciate your time being here with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. This program is a collaboration among the Department of Mass Media at SEMO, the City of Cape Girardeau, and River Radio. Our executive producer is Anthony Shear, and I'm Mike Rennick. We'll see you next time on Cape Chronicle.